Thank you guys so much for sitting down with us today. It's really, really amazing to have you here. If you could just kind of start by introducing yourselves, introducing us to your business. What is it that you do? What inspired you to start your business? And what were some initial challenges that you faced?
I'm Bridget Greenwood. I'm founder of The Bigger Pie and co-founder of the 200 Billion Club, along with my fantastic co-founder, Dr. Ghaddar.
I'm Amber Ghaddar. I'm co-founder at Alliance Blog and co-founder at the 200 Billion Club with my dear friend Bridget Greenwood.
I came into the blockchain space and saw the potential this technology had in terms of how we could reshape how we do business, how we interact with people, and also how few women were in the space. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't have another technological wave where women were left out.
I decided to start my own business. I saw a big opportunity in the market. It was when blockchain and crypto were starting to become a buzzword that everyone were using. At the start of my startup journey, I've done a couple of accelerators and I've actually found them a little bit disappointing because the focus is really on mentoring and networking rather than on making you VC investable, right? Sometimes there's things that you need to fine tune in your business to become VC investables. And all of the accelerators that I've done were not providing me with this. That's number one. And number two, there was no real backup or solution to fund you as a startup. You're just part of the accelerator, and if you raise, you raise. If you don't raise, you don't raise. And so we wanted to build something that really focus on your business model, making your business model VC investable, and then taking you to the VCs and doing the raise with you, making sure you get this term sheet in the end. Because having a mentoring and networking is great, but if you don't have the check to build your business, it's all a waste of time in the end. So the 200 Billion Club is an accelerator for female founders that accompany them from seed all the way to Series A+. Basically, the idea sprouted that we should start something for female founders, to back female founders and to help them raise funds. I'm sure you know the numbers. 1% of all VC funding goes to female founders only, right? That's a little bit terrible. When you think that roughly a tier of 33% of entrepreneurs are women. So there's a big disconnect here. There's a big gap. And so Bridget and I went on this journey to try to understand why are we not getting funded, right? We spoke with founders, we spoke with investors, and 82% of all VC-funded startups come through a warm introduction. 82%. Now, guess what? Women's network are smaller than men. Probability of getting this warm introduction is lower. Probability of getting funded is lower. And so how did we solve that problem? We solved that problem when we started the club by building this really large network of friendly VCs around us. So we currently have over 225 VC partners that are committed to invest in female founders. So we become this warm introduction, trusted third party for VCs. The second pain point, women are asked preventive questions when men are asked promotive questions. So preventive questions are questions that put you on the defensive. How did you do that? Are you sure this is true? Things like that. It shows that the bias is not against women per se. The bias is against feminine stereotype behavior during the pitch. And so what they did, they had a cohort of four group of founders, one that were men with masculine pitching style, one men with feminine pitching styles, and similar for the women. And the VCs obviously rated the highest the men with the masculine pitching styles, but right below them, it was the women with the masculine pitching style, which is a little bit of a contradiction when you look in the corporate world, because in a corporate world, when you're too assertive as a woman, you come across as bossy, while in the VC world, this seems to be the type, the stereotype of a successful founder of a startup. The VCs need to start changing their framework, the way they think about women, and they need to work on that unconscious bias that they have. And something very important about unconscious bias, it is unconscious. Around us, there's fantastic male allies. There are fantastic male allies. It's not they're doing it on purpose. It's very much ingrained in you. Women are biased, men are biased, everyone is biased. And it's very important to be aware, and it's very important, we have solutions that we've worked on how to bypass this unconscious bias and how at least to decrease its effect in your decision-making process.
What were some initial challenges that you faced as a founder?
So in terms of the challenges that I faced, becoming a founder, they've sort of been a blessing and a disguise at the same time. So definitely found my professional life more challenging when I became a parent. And by the time my son was 3, I was working as a single parent. So I wanted to be able to make sure I had enough time to be the parent I wanted to be to my son, but also, of course, to make sure that we could also pay the bills, have a roof over our head, and enjoy life as we went along. And so I was almost sort of forced into becoming a founder because there wasn't a role that I could be employed in that would allow me to do that. I've also been very honest and say to people I make things up as I go along, which is really important, I think, because especially when we work in emerging tech, you get to learn to rely on your instincts. I try and look at each challenge that I have, figure out what my take on that is or how I can overcome it, and then use that actually more as an advantage, if that makes any sense. But one of the things I would definitely say, looking back on what I've done and what I've learned, is action speaks louder than words, and we tend to overthink as women. People want to make sure that it's perfect before they put their foot forward. Do not make that mistake. Just start taking action and putting your feet forward. And I really can't encourage more women, particularly those who are looking at entrepreneurship, to be able to take that first step.
How do you feel about being a mentor or a mentee? Do you feel like that's important in the founder journey? And can you share any experiences where you were a mentor or a mentee?
Throughout my career, when I was in investment banking, I had 2 great mentors, and they were both women. And if they were not there, I don't think I would have had the career that I had. It is important to surround yourself with people that you want to become.
Your network is your net worth, and that's absolutely true. And the other important part is you need to build your network before you need your network. So what you want to be able to do, and it's an important part, I think everyone should do it anyway, but women especially, because we don't have the same, as I said, we don't have the same funding, the same opportunities, the same supply chain pipelines, etc., as our male counterparts do. So it's really important that we're able to make sure that we bring everyone up as much as we can do. And that's fantastic for when you're building your network. How can you help someone else? Not because you want to have an exchange of how they can help you back, but if you go through life saying, I've met you, how can I help you? And you build your network that way, then, when it comes to your turn to being able to say, actually, network, can you help me? You'll get a much better response. And I think it's important to have both male and female sponsors, particularly as a woman. You need people who will speak your name in the room when you're not there. And to have it from both sides, from a male sponsor and male ally, as well as a female, because they both have different opportunities that they can assist you with.